What the consumer really wants these days is the convenience of an SUV. That's the extra space in the back. It's not a trunk, it's a space that's large that you can put boxes in. They want the 4 doors. They want 4 seats or seating for 5 people. And really, you can't go wrong to drive electric today. And there are so many different electric vehicles out there. The one thing that we're real excited about with the Ford Mustang Mach-E, it is going to do what Ford's Model T did for cars in general. The Mach-E is going to bring driving to the masses. People are going to feel comfortable driving this car. There are a lot of things in this vehicle that are very similar to the gas-powered vehicles that people are driving right now. And because of the comfort inside and the space, it's really not going to be any different than the SUVs many consumers are driving right now. It's William West Hopper from Queer4Cars, an automotive business report, and we're here with the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. This is Ford's all-electric SUV. What is it that we really like about this 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E? Well, there's a lot to like about it. First of all, the styling is great. The size inside the vehicle, it feels so large, and it even looks large from the driver's seat with that big muscular hood. But it's really not that big. It's really not much bigger than a Ford Edge and only slightly bigger than Ford's Escape. It just feels bigger. And it rides bigger because of the weight of the battery. The weight of the battery gives it some heft to it. I feel very comfortable driving the car. It has a nice, solid, planted feel. It's nimble, but it's not light. It is a heavier car, and that is because of the batteries, no question. And this model that we're testing out has the extended range batteries, so it's even a little bit bigger and heavier. So what you will see on this vehicle under these beautiful, very muscular power domes that are designed into this vehicle. And why is that? Well, because of the way the vehicle is designed. There is a motor in the front to run those front wheels and a motor in the back, and then there is batteries underneath. So you don't need a hulking engine here, and you also don't need a gas tank. But I gotta say, you do need place for the batteries, and that is basically under the passenger compartment, very securely put away in there, so they're not going to be damaged during a side impact. So when we think about where the batteries are in this Mustang Mach-E, they are located under the passenger compartments. And you can see this large space here where the batteries ride. The floor is starts about here, so this space here is a secure area where the batteries are being carried. And they're heated and cooled batteries, so they're going to have optimum performance. While most electric cars do not have a grill because they don't need any air cooling to go into a radiator to cool a large engine, this one does have active shutters that are part of the battery cooling process. So what's under the hood? It seems to be pretty empty. There is what we call a frunk, which is a front trunk. There is a big space here. It's plastic with a drain, so you can fill it with ice, and you can go tailgating or front gating with this vehicle. There is the electric power facilities through here. Remember, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, so it has a motor up front that runs the front wheels and a motor in the back. On a lot of electric cars, you do not see protruding door handles because that will cause aerodynamic interference, and that interference cuts down on how smoothly the car can move through the air. And the smoother the car moves through the air, the less power it needs. And that's one of the things you're going to find out with electric vehicles. They're much more aerodynamic when they're being designed, so they think about everything that needs to come out of the vehicle that could cause air disturbance. Now, here is a handle, but you just pull on it, nothing happens. There is a button, and the door pops open and you pull on it. The same for the rear, except there's no rear door handle. How do you open this rear door? Well, the little button, you push it, and the ejector ejects the door open, and there you go. So what makes the Mach-E an SUV? Well, it's pretty basic. It's the cargo space. And the nice thing about this vehicle is that it has an ample space for cargo here in the back. Now there's not a lot underneath here. There's space for the charging cord that comes with the vehicle and an air pump, but that's it. Set up and open up, and if you decide that you want more space, you can push down the 40-60 rear seat backs and lay them flat, and you have a lot of space. As a matter of fact, so much space, we were able to get a 6-foot ladder in the back of this SUV, and that's a good trick for a mid-size SUV. Now, like most SUVs, push the button and the tailgate goes down. This is not a 3-row SUV, it is a 2-row SUV. It's a smaller SUV than the Explorer. It is a great size SUV for the family. And especially if it's a suburban family and you're running around town, especially when you're running errands, you know, there's plenty of space in here. There's space for the kids, there's space for the parents, and there's space for the dog and for the stuff that you carry. And in reality, that's what you have an SUV for. So what's involved in driving electric? Well, the difference between an electric car and a gasoline-powered car is that you plug it in. So we're here at our neighborhood Safeway store shopping today, and it's a great time to plug in and recharge your electric car. And Safeway actually has free chargers, which is great. So what you do is just unplug them, and hopefully your cable is not a mess, and just plug your car in. And it's that simple. It's nice and easy, and it's free. You will also find some shopping centers that have pay chargers. Now, most of the chargers that you're going to find that are the free chargers are the J1772 outlets. And they're not going to charge super fast, but they're going to charge pretty fast because they are the 220 or 240 volt chargers that you may not have at home. So it's a great opportunity to charge while you're shopping. You're going to be here anyway, and it's a great add-on. So I want to thank Safeway for doing that. And when you're finished, you just come over, unlock your car, and pull out your charger. And always be kind and good and clean up the charging cord. Make sure it's right in the right spot and do that. Some of the things that we are not in love with the Mach-E, one is the all-glass roof. We would like to have a solid roof, or even if we did have a glass roof, if it had a pull-over shade. This one does not have a shade in it, though the glass in the roof is very well tinted. But on a really hot day in a place like Arizona or Florida, I would think that the sun would still be pretty strong inside the cabin. And I've got to say, as much as the center display screen is a big deal for so many people, it is a bit distracting. And especially if you're trying to control heat and while you're driving, you do take your eyes off the road. Now, this car does not have a heads-up display, which is when the information from your dashboard is projected on the windshield in front of the driver. That is not on this car, though I believe that that will be something that will come out on later on. Inside the vehicle, I'm pretty impressed. It's got nice, comfortable seats. It is not anything super fancy, but it's not chintzy either, as you're finding in some of the cheaper vehicles. And speaking of price, this vehicle comes in at $56,000, and that does not include the delivery charge or the $7,500 federal tax credit. Now, talk about credits. You can also get a credit from some energy companies for installing home electric vehicle charger that will run off of your home's power system. It is much like an electric dryer or your electric stove. It uses 240 volts, 32 to 50 amps depending on the charger, and that needs to be professionally installed at your home by a licensed electrician. And if you have a power company that supplies credits for that, you can get a credit on the purchase and the installation of those home chargers. Now in this vehicle, it comes with the home charging cord, which I have been plugging into my 120 volt outlet in my garage. But it has an adapter, which I have not seen in other electric vehicles, that can turn it into a 240 plug, which will give it more power. So in some situations when you are having an electric charger put into your garage, you're going to have heavier duty wiring to supply that. And many of them have a plug. You won't need the charger. You will just use the plug that comes with this vehicle. You'll take off the 120 volt plug and replace it with the 240 volt plug and plug it in to what looks like an electric dryer outlet. So my overall impressions of this Ford Mustang Mach-E are very good. I think that it is going to be a great vehicle for families. It is going to be a great vehicle for people who are looking to drive electric but are still questioning whether that's a possibility for them. And this one specifically, with the all-wheel drive and the extended battery on it, is going to be a better option because it's going to give them more flexibility. You're going to have plenty of room in this vehicle to take the family, to put everybody in the back, to bring the dog, to go to the big box store, to do your shopping. There's plenty of cargo space in this. And what's really nice about this vehicle is it rides very well. Now it does ride heavy because of the battery. This vehicle does make noise when it's going over a rough road. But that is pretty common on electric vehicles. And why is that? Well, it's not because the car is rattly, it's because you get to hear everything. You get to hear the tires going in and out of those bumps. You get to hear the suspension reacting to those bumps. You get to hear the road noise. You get to hear the things that are in the car that aren't secured that are rattling around, like your umbrella or something else, or in our case, some of our camera equipment. On a freshly paved road with a smooth road surface, this is almost like floating on air. Now I understand why the speedometer says ground speed. You do feel like you're flying. I want to thank you for watching this episode of Queer4Cars as we talked about the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E, the all-electric SUV from Ford. Please hit that like button and follow our channel and subscribe for more of our car and truck review videos that you will find right here. Until then.